Hello and willkommen back to the, big appreciation stream now, because they just took the first map, Inferno, off Heroic. Now we are going on to Dust2, which is, in Counter-Strike terms, the homeland for the Germans. This is where they play their best CS. On the opposite side of things. This is a map where, before they won 16-5 over North, they had a 6-map loss streak on this one, Heroic. So this is definitely a big, pun intended, advantage for the Germans.
I was about to say, how are you feeling about your Heroic prediction?
Oh, I asked you if I could change it to a 2-0 early on. So I expected that change came in through, and that's why I'm on the big side now. I'm on the train now.
Oh, okay. So
Deutsche Bahn all the way through.
You've betrayed your comrades.
Of course.
You've joined the Germans. Yeah, okay.
Of course.
I dig it. I think at this point, it's going to take a pretty incredible performance from Heroic to turn this one around. But at the same time, you look at stuff like Cadian's Instagram stories. They've been sent videos from Hunden to watch. I think they would have known that Dust2 was coming. So they should be very well prepared for this. It's just whether or not that's enough. Because even individually, Big can be tough to break down. Keto looking to try and lock this site. I don't know how he's still alive. He's lasted so longer than expected. How is he still at the back of the site? It doesn't matter. Eventually, it's the trades out, and it's still Heroic that have got themselves an advantage. Make that an even bigger one as the rotation is caught by Cadian. Tizian does save a few extra seconds on that bomb plant, but they've now spotted where Searson is, and one of the many kings of Dust2, they're going to A. I'm surprised. It gives the 1v1 duel. If he wins this, I think he actually has a better possibility of winning the round, but unfortunately he won't. Cadian is going to get the double, holding off rotations all the way through, and the bomb eventually goes down on the A site.
Yeah, and they get a pistol round to go, which is actually quite interesting because I found a stat line for Inferno, and even though Inferno is a map that Heroic they play a lot, they only have a 40% win percentage on pistol rounds. On most of the other maps, it's actually quite fine. So Heroic winning their first pistol round in this matchup here on this map is actually playing just in line with the statistics. So let's wait and see if they can maybe get 2 pistol rounds on Dust2. They lost both pistol rounds on Inferno. This is the push towards B. Bro coming in, Mac 10 in hand. How is Keto still alive? Once again.
2 rounds in a row. He's a survivor. And because of that, he's actually going to get a second kill with the scout. He spotted Nico on the other side, and he's still standing. It's left all onto Cadian. A scout versus 2 scouts. Well, make that just 1 scout, but there's also a lone Tabson in the mix with a P250. The Force Spy going very well indeed, but he's going to try and reevaluate his situation, maybe see if there's any other weaponry. The problem is every single member of Heroic, excluding him, has died within the B site. So all the weaponry's now fallen into enemy hands. Tabson has even picked up an AK-47, and while he's not quite going to hit that first shot, leaving just 29 HP. Plenty of time, but unfortunately it isn't going to work out. And yeah, someone, I think maybe Keto's wearing one of those like heavy suits that you can get during some of the missions, because he just seems to just tank those bullets.
Yeah, I was about to say this is the good old standard Danish second round call when you win the pistol. Buy Mac 10s, rush B. The great idea with that strategy is that you have to get into the site very quickly, and that's the one thing they didn't manage to do, because on the side was Keto. He was just allowed to stand there with a scout, mid to long range shots. Can't really do anything against them, so that was kind of it wasn't really that good of a round for Heroic, both individually and as a team. Big were allowed to answer. Now they have long control though, so one of the things that is usually fought for almost minutes on this map, the long control has now been given. They're kind of trying to see if they can get some damage done towards the terrorists, down in towards Pit, and there's in my opinion, the best scout player in the world. They're just gonna lock this T side down.
Yeah, he's making it difficult. There have been a couple of tags connected by Cadian on the other side, though, so there's at least a possibility to do some damage. The problem is all the rifles are still standing, and that's definitely going to make things tougher for Heroic. Also, you mentioned like they finally get themselves a pistol round win, and then they lose the second round. So it's, if anything, an even worse scenario than they would have been if they just lost the pistol and got to fight back a little bit later on. And well, an eventual cleanup. 4 players surviving, still keeping all their rifles forward, and of course a scout on system, which we've already mentioned is not really much of a detriment. More worryingly, Heroic can't invest anything into this round.
Actually, kind of to follow on with the trend of only winning 40% of their pistol rounds on Inferno, I just found the stats. They've played 24 pistol rounds on Dust2 Heroic, and they've only won 6 of them. that's 25% pistol round wins. That's insanely low.
Yeah, that's rough. Like most teams, you'll see them either a little bit above or a little bit below 50%.
45, 55-ish.
It's not really anything impressive most of the time. If a team is winning a hell of a lot of pistol rounds, then you're expecting them to be playing, I guess, lesser teams. But yeah, that's gross. I never want to hear that stat ever mentioned again because it makes me feel a little bit ill. Of course, this round, kind of irrelevant. This is just a chance for Big to really make some extra money, and that's the scary prospect. Like, you go into this map knowing that you firstly have to have a good T side, you also have to win it, and you've lost that second round and just given a hell of a lot of economy over. Yeah. He just basically reloaded next to his opponent. That is a big balls play. Just like, I don't even care if you're there. I'll just reload next to you.
Oh well, 3-1 will be the scoreline, and this is a chance for Heroic to bounce back. They now have the full buy round. They have no AWP, but they have almost all the utility they need. 4 rifles. They need to get something done here. They absolutely do. They try to take long control again. It worked out in the early beginning of the round, but Centaurus is there once again. Straight through the smoke will take him out. He's down with 1, and he has an idea that Tessian is sitting behind the smoke. Calls that. Tesla grabs the frag.
Yeah, nice start. Long control again, gathered.
Yeah, exactly. Same model as last round.
See on the other side, Big are just slowly clearing out other portions of the map. They've got to be a little bit careful because Cadian is waiting. He's spotted out. Both players taking an even trade, and Cadian, he hasn't actually given himself much space to escape. The fact is, though, all that really does is know for Tabson that he's going to have a player behind him, which makes things a little bit more awkward. And in fact, the remainder of the team might actually rotate in to go and meet up with Cadian.
Oh, the timing
however,
here. Oh, it's so unfortunate.
He might get a kill for free, and he does. 7 HP, though, a trade maybe not being available, and you can already spot, because of that rotation, they're going to put more players on the B side.
Yeah, but they're only going to have 1, because he spotted the last player rotating from long, so he probably has no... He has a clue that they could be towards B, but he has no idea they're this far in. So they actually focus towards the A side right now. They think this could maybe be a short play, and... What is this from Heroic? They're going lower. With 23 seconds to go. This is some big brain stuff. Like...
This could work.
Wow, okay, yeah,
rotation to throw smoke into mid. There's nobody on there anymore. So there's going to be an incendiary down. They'll smoke it. Nice shot onto Cadian. The bomb's going to go down in the nick of time. 3.5 seconds to plant. So they'll have just over a second left on the clock. Even still, though, it's a bit awkward. And Tabson, well, I was going to say he's still alive and kicking. The jump down. Not going to spot anybody out. Now both players coming in from short as the retake commences. Keto finds that first down, looking to try and catch his head as he crushes, but instead, with only 19 HP, he's left in a really awkward position for this bomb, and it's just being diffused in front of him. He gets the kill eventually onto Keto, but it doesn't matter. Big will take the round home. Probably one of the weirdest rounds I've seen in a long time, with all the rotations and pushes from either side, but I don't think the Germans are going to care now that they've won it.
No, they're definitely very happy going up 4-1 on the CT side of their favorite map, so they're not going to have any complaints on this one. Also, to mention is that Big are a stellar T-side team on this map. They win 57%, almost 58% of their rounds on the T side of this map. So them already leading now on the CT side of things is perfect. That's just what they wanted.
Oh, it's still going to be an investment here. There was a bomb plant, and the loss bonus is now building up for the side of Heroic. It does mean that Barup is going to be down to a Mac 10, and there isn't an AWP to face off against the 2 that are on the other side. Mid-control almost completely abandoned, though. It's just this passive spot being held by Tabson, but it does give him a very quick rotation available, and even has support from Searson if they do go there. This smoke, obviously the classic for when you are going to go for an A-short play, but for now, just being thrown out as a little bit of a fake to try and hold some players there for the side of Big.
Tessian once more. Left almost to his own devices in long. Can get the backup he needs, if he is a flashbang or sees a smoke, then Stirson will be ready to back up. And they have a secondary player on the A-bomb side as well. But for now, he'll have to take the first duel all on his own. And now he'll call for the backup, but it might be too late. He's burning up. If you can just get one frag here, that'll be perfect. He's buying time, so it's working out for him right now, but losing some HP. And yeah, good angle for Stirson. This is working out. Tizian is actually playing this very well. He does die in the end, but I feel like the round is almost but decided. Very nice play from Tizian there. Once again, like, we see him get one frag. It's not a lot, but he buys so much time. He gives crucial information, and that's one of the reasons why that you should never just look at the scoreboard for a player and see, okay, he's on 15 frags. He's having a bad game. In this round here, Tizian got like 3 or 4 of the frags actually done. He didn't get them on the scoreboard, but he was the one giving the information and buying the time.
But that's the thing. He knows as well that for them to wide peek him, they have to cross the AWP angle. And even they realize it towards the end, using one of their smokes to try and like actually catch off that angle. A switch up in positioning though. Stirson maybe having a slightly poorer spawn, so he's gone towards the B side. I like the fact that they have this dynamic of basically just being able to play stuff on a whim. I think that's what a lot of teams do on Dust2. I think it's the most common map for those aggressive plays, especially on the T side. But to see the CT side double AWP almost just be happy to go, okay, we'll switch for this round just because you can get there first.
Once again, Deagles. Heroic. 4 flashbangs, so they can chain flash their way over towards the A-bomb side if there was an AWP. And there is in Keto. Let's see how they place them. First one is good. Secondary is not well timed, but he missed the shot. Third one will take him out, so that's perfect. Nice chain flash setup. Tapson, they'll have to push him straight up. They'll just have to run through the Molotov. Tapson doesn't care. He does not care.
Oh, this is what we like to see from Tabson, just slaughtering them as they push into the site. Obviously, we saw the HLTV article recently that he basically said that for him to play well, he needs to be playing within like an almost family setup.
Yeah.
And how this squad has almost helped him to perform to the highest of his ability. And it has been a pleasure to watch. Those sort of rounds, those multi-frags are something we've become almost accustomed to. I think we're spoiled for choice within this team of who can actually step up at the right time. Of course, this is what we talk about being Stirson's playground. But so far, well, we're actually looking at Zontaras and Tabson just fragging out. Hasn't had too much to do on the AWP. But at least we now do have a buy again on the board, Risk. And this is with everything they would desire. The AWP back onto Cadian, who we saw on day one having a crazy game. I think he ended like almost plus 30, I think he said. It was like 27, 28. An incredible game. So he needs to pull that out now. If they're going to win Dust2, Cadian needs to be on the board.
Yeah. To be honest, I think everyone needs to step up from Heroic, from what we've seen so far from Dust2. But yeah, Cadian would be a very good candidate based on what we've seen so far from him in this tournament. Tessus start things off, and once again Tizian comes under pressure. We'll rotate away. Once again, the disciplined move here, the correct move, is to rotate away and wait for the retake with your teammates. Don't try to force a duel where you're 1 against 2, 1 against 3, and they have an advantage. They might even be able to catch down off here. That's very nicely done. And now I have to pressure long so that Centaurus will get some space after the smoke clears. This has to be the play. They have 4 kits. They can go for it still, but now it becomes hard. Great shot from Cadian. Smoke off. Now they have to decide if they want to go or if they want to stay and play defensive and save their weapons. And it's going to be a call to save, I think, here. That has to be the call.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to hold the remaining players in for the exits. I think Zontaras has heard them all dropping down. They would have heard him as well, though. And Cadian's just watching this angle. It's only if they try and push any further than this, and they don't, well, most of them don't need to. Barak clearly did as he dies to the bomb. But it's a worthwhile trade. Zontaras will fall. And the money is not awful for the other side of things, but it's actually not that great considering how far up they are.
It's been a while since I've seen like 4 players saving a CT spawn with a bomb planted on A. I have to say. It's been a while. Nice to see. And as you say, money for both teams is kind of awkward. For Heroic, yes, they have a lot, but Nico and Borup is kind of low. And for the big side, no one really has anything apart from Stirson. So this could be, once again, a swing round. If Big gets this, they'll be even to build an even bigger lead. If Heroic gets this, they'll be able to kind of take the game back and get close to evening things up.
And that's something we saw in the last map. It was, well, I think an 8-3 scoreline, something along those lines for Big, and then it was a streak of rounds to end the half 8-7 for Heroic. So they definitely can do it. They've already done it once. At the same time, though, even 6 rounds on the CT side for Big is enough. Like we've seen their T side be incredible.
That's
on
the
this
thing,
map,
right?
so.
Like the second that they get 8 rounds or above, usually Dust2 is over. Like if they get 8 rounds or more in CT, Dust2 is over. Like it becomes so hard to play against the T side when they have that confidence, when they have that momentum. So Heroic, they need to get like going now. They need to get something rolling.
Yeah, and the worry is looking at the current setup from Big, they are ready for any sort of short play. They have 3 players around this angle, Tizian with the ability to just switch back whenever they need, and they're actually going to go pushing what looks like into the stack. It's a very good position from Tabson, another multi-frag. They've fallen for the trap of the Germans, and now Cadian's there to try and fix an impossible scenario. We spoke about how their CT side of Inferno seemed like they had the right reads the majority of the time, and it has been seen once again. They were more than ready for that push.
One little detail that I love is the underhand smoke they throw onto short, the CT team, with 37 seconds to go. That's a secondary smoke, and they create this wall of smokes for, well, 40 seconds in a row almost. So when that smoke fades, there'll be very, very little time left to see what Heroics wants to do, and they decide to push through the smoke anyway, end up dying 2 players. That's a nice entry from Tessus. But I have to say that smoke last round, that was a nice little detail. Searson, 1 for 1. Tessus continues. Might even get a third here.
A risky peek.
Yeah.
Tabson just wide faces out, and well, there's an AWP waiting. That was so fast from Keto that I don't even think Tessus had the chance to react. And with the bomb
Nico's
down,
on B.
Yeah, this like it would be great if they still had control, but unfortunately they don't. Sound just waiting in the corner. It's going to be predicted by Zontares, and again, even with an M4, I think he's favored in most duels. It's left all onto Nico. Now he does have time to play with, but well, even just watching his POV, I think even he knows this is going to be a rough one.
Yeah, this is. He has to almost pre-aim and pre-fire the guy holding his angle, which is Zontares, a guy who's notoriously known for his strong aim. Yeah, this is not happening.
I don't think it mattered which direction he was looking as he walked out. If a bullet hits you the second you round the corner, it makes absolutely no difference. And well, that's now a big problem, because you look at Heroic's economy, it's not in a good place. Like, okay, sure, you have a couple of players that can purchase, but you don't have enough for the AWP. So chances are you have to go for a pistol round. And again, like we talk about how their long control has actually been pretty good. I think the battle for long has actually gone their way more often than not, except for maybe the round where Tizian manages just to delay them long enough. And even if you talk about duels, they still won most of the duels. It was just they ran out of time. So the problem is clearly once they either get towards the site or just the fact that they're getting slowed down. And again, that's something that I feel like you can't give over to Big. If you're winning those duels, you then need to do something to capitalize on them. And it seemed like initially they had, which was Nico taking the B site. The problem is the rest of the team was still battling in positions, and then the bomb gets dropped in a spot where, well, you can't flee at that point.
Yeah, and once again, they're trying towards the long area. Smoke on the corner. And to deny that one, Bob just goes out with the MP5. Okay. Tizian is close range, doesn't care. Just grabs the frag, and the train continues rolling onto the A bomb site. Searson is there. There's no chain flash setup this time around, so Searson. This is dog hunting for him right now. He won't even have to get any frags because Tabson just goes aggressive. Like, there's no way you can, with a full eco like that, or deagle eco like that, get anywhere near the site when they have Tabson with an M4, Searson with the AWP, and you have no chain flash setup. It's simply not happening.
Well, what was the ADR we were looking at? I think it was on Mirage. It was something like 180 something for Zontares. I think Tabson has seen that number and is looking to try and challenge it, as he's on over 170 ADR at the moment, 11 rounds into the game.
How is that even possible?
Killing everyone.
Still early days, but like, that is insane. That's an insane amount of damage. Tessus will grab once again, but it's... Let's see. Tizian maybe get some information here. Keto in the middle of the smoke. Who'll catch who first? Keto. Oh no, it's down. Keto was completely flashed. And now this is going to be a heroic round. Very, very confusing, but a round for the Danes nonetheless. And they probably don't even themselves understand exactly how that went down, but they'll take it.
Yeah, it was very, very scrappy. I think that's the best way to put it. And, well, for the Big, this will be the remainder of their economy going wild. As said, though, 9 rounds on the CT side for Big. It's going to be a rough second half no matter what the case is here. But if at least Heroic can win this round, you're looking at no real economy left for Big. And then there's a chance for at least 6. And that's a much better scenario than we're currently looking at. Cadian as well. He actually gets leg. I thought it would have been the other way around, but he's tagged up by that second drill. That's one of the main reasons Big don't have this economy is because of how pricey their setup has been. And funnily enough, it's actually been the 2 AWPers that have been a little bit underwhelming so far. Not necessarily through their own fault. We've seen a few missed shots here and there for Searson, but also just because Zontar is alongside.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say alongside Tabson, but I can't even finish the sentence before he gets a multi-frag. In the meantime, the push is going to come into long, but Searson's ready for this. He's just waiting on the corner. And Barup, but where do you even go? Like, where do you go at this point?
It's so funny because they were obviously trying to do something fake towards B. But the second that all the B players are dying and they're advancing towards long, there's a player on the corner and there's a rotation 2 seconds away. Like, there's nothing you can do in this situation if you're Heroic. Fantaras, of course, always nice to just start with 2 spray shots through the smoke. And remember the reason...
Dane.
Yeah, the reason why he actually started to spam that smoke was because the Danes started firing behind it with their AKs. If they had done nothing, he probably wouldn't even have shot there. So, yeah, interesting. Fantaras once again. Actually, only takes 1, but Bob is ready and waiting with the refrag. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade.
Meantime, a battle for long. It's not been the best game for Nico, but I guess you could say that for the majority of the members of this Heroic side. And unfortunately, the man who has been able to get them a fair few entries, Tesses, is actually the first to fall. So losing a pivotal member of this Heroic roster, and now they just fall back into a more passive position. I think they've realized that there's a lot of aggression coming out. The timing on that cross actually might benefit Cadian, as the repeat from Tamsin is a much easier shot to hit. They're about to go walk into, though, the majority of Big players. Searson locking down the angle. And as said, he's been a little bit quiet so far. But at the same time, I'm in no doubt that he could just take this round away from them.
Searson ready and waiting. Completely flashed. Good assist from Bob. Maybe a second away from the pre-fire through the flashbang, but doesn't matter. Cadian will get it. Tizian, though, once more with a very important frag. Keto onto down. And 2v2. Where's the fake smoke gonna go? It's actually gonna be the CT smoke that you can throw from long. And it's actually not gonna be a complete fake. This is not to sell something. This is actually to go through mid. And Keto has read this like a book. Cadian can't dance around the corner. 3 frags from Keto. 11-3.
Yeah, there's a part of me that almost thinks that Heroic might need to be a little bit more direct. Like they're like every single round where it seems to come down to a clutch situation, there seems to be a really elaborate strategy. Like that was a 3 versus 2 there, and one player goes mid, the other 2 go long. Then someone else. Oh, dear Lord, Cadian. It's just been it's called suicide for a reason.
Yeah.
And well, Keto, he's looking to try and style on them. He was also having a bit of a quieter game with the second AWP, but
not anymore.
Last couple of rounds, oh dear. That's not what you want to see if you're a Heroic fan. He's just looking to try and close this round out all on his own, but he's got some support from Searson as well. Just Testes and Nico remaining. Make that just Nico. He's waiting over towards long, just trying to work out if there's anybody here. He at least gets the kill onto Tizian, but that should be it as the peak comes out from Tabs, and he wanted that extra kill. A 12-3 half for Big. Absolute domination on the CT side. They need just 4 to close this out and make it to the playoffs. We'll see if they can after the break.
Welcome back to Germany's headquarters, which is currently Dust2. Big are absolutely smashing Heroic in this one. And it's going to be a rough time for Heroic to come back. And Big are already now looking towards to go into the B-bomb side, whereas Down is sitting. Cadian is in lower tunnels, so he could maybe come in with something exciting here. But if I know Big correctly, they will always have a guy watching lower tunnels. That's Keto in this scenario. It's going to be a B execute, but a quick rotation from Heroic. Who'll get there first?
The smoke falls, but it's actually going to be Nico getting the kill through it. Not a bad start whatsoever, but even still, the 4v5 afterpart is not easy. And, 304, make it just two. They're getting slaughtered. Back and forth we go. Tizian now left in the clutch, only 10 HP. Everybody felt in a second, and Cadian's more than aware. An important pistol round, but a bomb plant nonetheless for Big. And I'll be interested to see how much they're actually going to invest into this next round.
Yeah, Cadian heard what you said before we went to the break, Tom, and he was like, okay, have to get something done now. He stopped things up, 3-kill pistol round. I actually thought they had that Big when they got those like 3 frags in a row. But then Heroic just smashed into the side and cleared it all out. 4-12.
Oh, we are going to be seeing an investment. I assume that scout is going to go over to Searson. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. And Keto, we've already seen a few multi-frags from him on a rifle, so you can see Heroic's purchase as well is actually a very, very safe one. 1 SMG, a scout, and then the rest is all rifles. It does leave them a little bit low on utility, but on a map like Dust2, you can get away with that, especially with some of the battles that you're going to be taking. It's only really the B site that can have some vulnerabilities, and that's why you have Tessus there with the SMG and, what was a few extra grenades. This aggressive, though, it's on Taras, in fact, with the Deagle, who's actually going to get that pick, and the timing couldn't be better for Tizian. It leaves Cadian again. He's got everything to do. He got 3 in the last round. He's managed 1 so far, and he's actually forced them back in the other direction. And Tessus, he's going to be in a prime position to deny any further pushes. That's the bomb down. A peek coming back in. So Antares has found a rifle, but it's down. 2 quick kills, almost burnt to death. And Tabson, he'll be dunked out as well.
That's a nice nade to finish things off. Very nicely done holding down the fort in CT. And Cadian with the scout as well. It's going to be a full eco now for Big. Maybe some deagles, maybe some P250 Tech 9-ish stuff invested into this one. But it's going to be the next round they're looking at. That's going to be where their focus is lying. Keto buying down to 800. I'm not sure if I like it, but let's wait and see. It's going to be just a B play. It's just going to be taking a big chunk of damage from the nade. Down is here, ready and waiting. Has his teammate Tessus in the corner as well. They're getting completely knocked down.
I guess they assumed with how much they have that they'd be able to get a bomb plant. I guess for him, it just means he doesn't have any grenades and will probably just buy into a straight up rifle. Which,
potentially just entry. And then
I think that's what it will be. Like, maybe he was just hoping for some sort of long spawn. Worst case, he drops down to a Galil and then it's not really the end of the world. But I kind of get what you mean. I think they were fairly focused on just him getting a bomb plant and tanking a lot of the damage.
Yes, he's quickly out towards Long. Might be able to catch Bob off guard if they get a secondary flashbang. He actually has no... It's going to be Tabson who can give him backup, but there's no smoke, there's no flashbangs from Tabson. He only has that 1 Molotov. So they're just leaving Searson for now. All alone. Will die. Double smoke CT.
From their perspective, they've managed to commit a few extra players to long. So the idea is just, okay, they're focusing on long, they're focusing on Searson. In that time, let's try and take B. The problem is the counter utility that has come out from Heroic has actually delayed a lot. So now the push starts coming back through in the other direction, and they're somewhat sandwiched. As is Tessus, though, and Tizian actually peeks out aggressively into mid. There's the trade. Tabson should have this kill, and eventually does, but it still ends up in a 1 versus 1. And spotted out Cadian, who has now retrieved the rifle and just about takes it home. 14 HP. These last few rounds have been close, but still, Heroic are grinding things back.
All right. We might have something here for Heroic. Slight chance. Still behind with 5 rounds, of course, and they are getting some economy behind them. Big will once more have some deagles, some utility. but their eyes are on the next round. Head armor on Tapton, so look out for him. He'll be dangerous. Tizian out towards long. Will actually get a frag, but instant refrag coming out from Borup. Tapson shot down there. Oh, Cadian double in mid. A third one coming up as well, but that's Tito. Always watch out for that Deagle. Dangerous.
Going for a knife kill.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. Maybe he just caught on the timing. Didn't expect anybody to be down there. Tito, though, small chance of a bomb plant. Borup is going to be waiting on the site. And in fact, I like this. He's just playing this hidden. He's almost just trying to fake him out and make him believe there's no one there. No chance of him messing up that duel. 12 to 8.
Yeah, we need to get Searson going now. He's 9 to 11 with 1 assist, so not the best of score lines here. We need to get him started. 4 AKs around him. Tapson has been very good so far on Dust2, the same as Keto. We need to get this guy rolling as well. Corner smoke towards short.
Okay.
Has landed. Jump. Peek towards mid. So they're going to go for some short control to begin with here, Big. Could end up with either a split B or a split A, depending on how you want to utilize CT spawn.
Well, that's the thing at the moment. There is no one on A. They're both over towards long. It's going to be KD and combining with Borup, and does give a potential avenue. There's also 3 players in the B side, so any push in that direction would be pretty much impossible. Obviously, the A side a lot easier to retake. We talk about the B side of Dust2, even with the new doors being one of the toughest sites in the game to retake. For that reason, Zontara is probably just trying to sell a little bit of an elaborate ruse. He's got a Molotov in hand, but if he throws it down now, I think they're going to be... Well, it's going to be fairly obvious that no one's pushing in this direction. However, they are actually going to be pressuring into middle, and this is looking like a pretty good read from Heroic.
There are still 3 guys on that B bomb side, or 2 guys in the side and 1 in a quick rotation. Nice Molotov timing here. Tessus rotates down. And when the Big decide that this is not the play, but actually they're going to straight up go for it. Flash timing is perfect. Tessus gets a double. Nico holding down mid. Can they trade their way into this bomb site? Tapson also denied. Searson finally getting things going. Can he get the secondary as well? Yes. 1v1 now. Searson versus Borup, missing the shot.
Looking like he would nail that one, but he has brought it into a clutch situation. Borup trying to rotate through. Now, the last few clutches have all gone the way of Heroic, and Borup is actually waiting patiently in middle. He expects this aggression, and he's got it spot on, and he gets the shot as well. Again, these rounds are very close to a Big, but Heroic are clinging on and leaves just 3 rounds the distance. Bear in mind, this was a 12-3 half, so it is now 6 in a row for the Danes.
That is a next level mind game from Borup. Like, he's just waiting. He's just waiting down there, holding the angle for some reason, knowing that Searson will push him and will choose a duel that's disadvantages to his own self. That's some next level stuff. I'm not quite sure how it worked out, but yeah.
Who knows?
4-1 split for Heroic. Long control is the focus. But it's actually going to be a B play if we look at the bomb on the back of Tizian, rotating towards those tunnels.
I think if you're Big, you probably realize that, okay, that round they definitely had some sort of stack towards the B site. And Heroic, they're a team to be dynamic. They're not going to be doing the same thing twice. So there's actually the majority of their players currently in mid, which is, well, pretty much 4 players around that angle. The smoke's being thrown over. I think one of them's missed by the looks of it on the map. It's actually landed outside the map, which I'm not sure if that was the attempt, but now it's left with the testers. Oh dear. Spacebar jump gang wins again, as he's going to mess that one up, and now it's going to be the B site completely under the control. Borup, I think he was waiting for a flash, but the flash is yet to be thrown out, and in fact, it's not a flash, it's an HG.
And just as Heroic thought they were going to get back in the game, Big grabs another chunk, another bite out of them. 13 rounds on the board, 4 rounds in the lead, and 3 rounds away from Big from winning this series and going straight to the semifinals.
Yeah, this ties in, though, to something that we've been mentioning, is that a lot of these rounds that have been won by Heroic, clutches. Like, they had been huge plays coming out from their side, like 1v1s. There was Cadian winning 1v1.
Two of them were 1v1s on the B-bomb side.
And Barup as well. And, well, considering, as said, 6 rounds in a row, right, Risk, you're like, oh, well, Tom, if you say 6 rounds in a row, that means they got loads of money to spare. They'll be bringing in the double orbs. They'll be having all the M4s, all the utility. Ugh. It's a bit rough, isn't it?
Yeah. And they even take a time out here to decide what they want to do. I think this is a round where you just say, okay, yeah, Borby will drop some Deagles, some P250s, we'll get maybe something going. That would be the normal answer. Once again, they decide on a weird... I'm not saying this is the wrong call. It's an interesting one. It's the same as we saw in Inferno, the round where they bought a couple of pistols around the AWP. This is the same choice. They have one player on the AWP and one player on the FAMAS. It's kind of the same setup. This is not a bad buy, but it's a very risky one.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem. Because they did so poorly in their first half, these risky rounds, normally, if you've had a 6-0 start, you'd be like, okay, they've got a good chance here. And if it doesn't work, well, it's not the end of the world.
Okay.
Here it is. Okay, Stown, that's aggressive. It's only going to be a trade, though. And, well, a trade for one of your rifles in return, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all, unfortunately. He needed to do a little bit more.
Yeah, Cadian has to get something now. He has to be the one to rotate in and grab 1, maybe 2 frags here if they decide to go long. And once again, you can see the entire Heroic team. They know that they're at a disadvantage weapons-wise, so they have to rotate towards where they have information. They've seen something towards long. That's why they have 2 players on the side, 1 in quick rotation, and leaving only 1 on B. But the pressure's on Cadian right now. Unfortunate timing on both of them. Missed by just a couple of seconds.
Nico on the corner of the smoke. He could get something done here. He's left completely blind, but then again, so is Dontares. Oh, it's awkward, and he's going to have to reload. He's still not being killed. Cadian has found another. We set up in a 2 versus 2. Well, make that just 1, as this time Searson does not miss his aggressive peek. For up, he's retrieved a FAMAS. Make that an AK. But he doesn't have any armor, and he definitely doesn't have a kit. So he's going to have to just do this one very quickly if he even attempts it. Making his way through long stints and actually not looking in the right direction. That'll be a freebie. And now it's left all on to Keto to save this for the Germans. And the time is ticking, though. He still has to pretty much run all the way, and Keto's just going to be waiting behind the box, just sitting there, delaying the time, and eventually he'll close out the round. Again, it's a 1 versus 1, but I think that's the first time that Big have actually won one of them.
Yeah, and this situation, I feel like he's making the correct call, the last Heroic player here. He knows it's going to be a full eco, and even if they win the round, he wins the 1v1, it's still going to be a hard buy anyway. So he has to go for it, see if he can get a round home, because Big are now on 14. And they're on a full eco now with 95% chance. Securing Big round number 15. So it's a tough time right now. It's a rough scenario for the Danes of Heroic.
Yeah. Putting it onto 15. Unless, well, you know, they did win a round with 1 flashbang and a CZ in the last map. You never know, Risk. You never know. Never say never.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
They are actually going to be rotating their stack, and with the smokes going down, they have a fair amount of information. The spam's starting to come through, but Tabson, padding those stats a little bit further. 26 kills for him. Testes does actually do a little bit of extra damage, and more importantly, and although it seems minuscule in the grand scale of things, an extra $300 is pretty much an extra grenade. So those 2 kills could actually make a big difference.
15 rounds for Big. 1 round away from a spot in the semi-final of DreamHack Open Summer 2020. Heroic will have a literal mountain to climb if they're going to have to grind this one back. But in this round, they do have all the utility, or at least some of the utility. They have the rifles they want. Testes is starting up, but he might be caught off guard. See, Testes will die off, and the rotation is far away. He was playing solo B. And yeah, it's going to be a retake B for the potential of the end of the game.
He knows he's coming. He's just waiting on the angle, and Tamsin doesn't miss those shorter shots, especially in this match. He's been playing superb on both halves, and well, now this retake is looking bleak. There's still Cadian coming in from afar, and again, there isn't a kit available to them. So they're still watching out for flanks. trying to find people behind. They're being delayed by smokes. There's still another smoke for Tatson, but he won't get the chance to use it. Gorup, however, has found 2, and now it is left all on Taquito. The multi-frag merchant trying to save them, and he can't quite get the kill. It's going to be close with the defusal. Oh, that's ridiculous. Right on the end.
Wow.
Oh. Were you sweating, Risk? Were you sweating?
Yeah, I'm already sweating, but I'm sweating more now. That was insane. They are still alive, Tom. They are still alive.
Yeah, by about half a second.
Yeah, I thought Keto had that one, but eventually Pig was shot out. And who will win this duel? It will be Bob. They were both very flashy. And now the
rest of the team are just barreling through short. There's actually 3 players waiting for this. All the footsteps going to be heard by Nico. Keto looking to try and find the opener. That shot's gross. Looking for a little bit more. Tabson will be alongside him, but it's down. The young Dane to try and hold on to things here. And once again, it's Keto in the clutch. A lot more time for him here. The first one goes his way. There's a player trying to look over the top of the smoke, but it isn't quite giving an angle. And he hasn't seen Test. It's close, but he gets the headshot anyway. And Keto ends it. What a 4K again. This man is the 4K king. And he is going to hold on to things for Big. They had a fantastic first half of the match, but it took them a little while, but they got it over the line. 2-0, close series in the first map, but a great performance from the #1 in the world.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be the Citizen show, but instead Keto jumped in and just took over the match all on his own.
Easy MVP.
Yeah, he's the MVP for this one. He has to be. He was the guy on the server dishing out multiple 4Ks, as you said, and Big will be moving on to the semi-final of this tournament. It's going to be great to follow. Heroic will have to go down in the pit of despair, one could almost say, in the elimination.
That's the UK team.
So that's going to be an interesting match for sure. But the world #1 remains #1 so far in the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Well, either way, the analysts are going to have a bit of an easier time, I feel, breaking down that one after a dominant first half. Let's see what they have to say, and hopefully an interview with my favorite person, Toby, as well. You never know. We'll see.